Hey everybody, this is Roy Kennedy, and this is Favorite Game Friday, where we have a group of contributors with completely different tastes in gaming talk about their favorite game and the category of the week. This week we're talking all about replayability. Is there a game that you really enjoy that has tons and tons of replayability? Whether that be through just having different choices each time you play the game, or just ways that you play with different people makes you really want to play the game over and over again. Make sure to leave in the comments down below, especially if it wasn't one mentioned here, and let's get to all the contributors' clips.
Hey, this is Daniel from Around the Board, and my favorite game that has so much replayability is Marvel Legendary. This game can be played cooperatively, it can be played semi-co-op. It is also a great solo game. It can also be played competitively. There are dozens upon dozens of villains that have different play styles. You have hundreds of events and scenarios that change the rules. You have thousands of characters to choose from. I mean, there are millions of possibilities the way to play this game. You can even play it 1 versus many. Now, I don't play it that way because it's probably garbage and I don't have any interest in that, but you know what? It's still there. This game, Marvel Legendary, is for everybody, and it has just an endless amount of replayability. So until next time, I'll see you around the board.
Hi, I'm Julian, this is Libby, and we are from Box Meeples. Well, a game I can't stop playing is the game Root. With so many different factions, different boards you can play on. If you're playing, that's lower player counts, different hirelings you can introduce. You've got landmarks in there. There's so much variety you can get in Root, which is probably why it's my favourite game, and probably why I've got over 200 games recorded, this game.
Yeah, you really can play that one over and over. And for me, I am going with Sea Salt and Paper. This is a cute, tiny little box you can take anywhere and travel with, and it's just a sort of set collecting, try and see if you can get that swimmer and shark and steal a card off your opponent, but super fun. And there is now the expansion Extra Salt, which adds a few different cards and mechanisms into that, but yeah, it's a really good one to just get out whenever.
Hi, it's Diane from Canada, and I want to talk to you about Bunny Kingdom. It's almost Easter, so what better way to celebrate Easter than play with cute little fluffy bunnies with all your favorite friends and family? Although I gotta warn you, this is no ordinary fluffy bunny game. This is serious. This is area control. This is hate drafting. This is so many different points to victory. Your head will be spinning. But at the end of the day, you can play this over and over and over again, and no 2 games will be the same. And that's what makes it so fun.
Hi, this is the guy with Board Game Unbox, and my game with high replayability is Castle Panic. You never know what tokens you're going to draw. It's always a different game, and we always seem to come back to it in our family gatherings. Have a good, happy Favorite Game Friday.
Hello everyone, Merlin's Manor here for Favorite Game Friday, and this week's theme being replayability was a difficult one for me because I have lots of games that I really love that are also very replayable. But I settled on the Castles of Burgundy. Specifically here I had the special edition, which is especially replayable because not only is this game replayable in the sense that you're going to have different things happen each time that are going to cause the game to be different, but this version comes with a bunch of expansions, including 2 separate versions to play solo, as well as a brand new expansion that they have called the Vineyards expansions, which really changes up the game a lot. All of this giving it great replayability. Happy Friday, everyone.
Hey everybody, today is officially our 4th year anniversary for Favorite Game Friday. Do you remember 4 years ago, Grayson?
I remember that video.
We look like this. Yeah, that 4 years, a lot has happened in the last 4 years. So for this very special anniversary, we decided to pick the exact same games we picked 4 years ago in our very first episode. So my pick for game with most replayability is going to be Fields of Green. There is a lot of replayability in the cards that you draft because you're building a farm full of animals and crops, but you're drafting a different farm and an arrangement every single time. I think there's a lot of replayability in this one.
My pick this week is Size, due to all the different factions you can play, and of course, I've never won.
Yeah, I think both of these games, I would say, help the replayability with the expansions. So, hey, thanks for having us on here for the past 4 years. We've had a great time, and many more to come. Happy Friday, everybody.
Bye.
What's happening, Dice Tower? It's Andrew here with Table Talk, and today we are talking about games with a high amount of replayability. A lot of times we think about replayability, we think of having to add a bunch of expansions like Marvel United or a really high complexity like Root. But one of the simplest types of games that has a vast amount of replayability is social deduction games, because these games add a human element, that bluffing element, and a lot of times they have a variety of roles you can mix and match, which makes up what happens in the game. And I can think of no better social deduction game to add replayability than Blood on the Clock Tower, because there is such a vast amount of roles, and every single role has either an ability, a disability, or some type of information gathering. So every time you mix and match roles, you add different ways they connect, disconnect, interact with one another, and the people playing will also change up the gameplay as well. It's a bit expensive, it's a bit complex for a social deduction game, but this is a social deduction game you can play again and again and again and have a different experience every single time. That is Blood on the Clock Tower. Make sure to check me out on OFPG Voices, where we're trying to spread diversity in the hobby. And with all that being said, I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side.
Hey everybody, Ron here, and if we're going to talk about replayability, I mean, there's so many games that have replayability. How about Marvel United? There's so much content out there, it's amazing. Another game that I think has a lot of replayability is a trading card game called Super Show, which is wrestling themed. As far as tabletop games are concerned, of course, role-playing games. I got too many to mention. I mean, look at my background. But ultimately, whatever gives you enjoyment in tabletop gaming, if you still enjoy it, then I guess it's still replayable, isn't it?
Hi, I'm Barb Meeple, PhD, and my favorite game for replayability is Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. This is a game where you are building out a civilization in front of yourself, and each game you're going to take a deck of cards that represents your civilization. Each of those decks has a slightly different strategy, so you could play the same civilization every game and try and hone that strategy, or like me, just grab a random one and see if you can figure it out on the fly. So, Empires of the North, my favorite game for replayability. Happy Friday, everyone.
Hi folks, Doug here at Sidetracks Board Game Club in Elwood City. It's been a while since I had a chance to contribute to Favorite Game Friday, and I'm glad to be back. So this week we're talking about games with a lot of replayability. And a game that I just learned fairly recently that I'm really looking forward to, because it seems like it has a lot of replayability, is Meadow. I really like the variety in the cards. There's a lot of different symbols, a lot of different combinations you can have. I love how the North and the South cards switch out about halfway through the game, so you're bringing in a bunch of new stuff to pick from. And I also really like the way the Campfire board randomizes the different goal tokens, so that every game is going to be a different combination. If you add that to the little picket fence post pieces that you have with the different options for what you can do at the top and the bottom of each post, it really seems to have a lot of replayability to it. So even though I've only played it a few times, it's one that I'm really excited about for that reason. Happy Friday.
Hi, I'm Josh from the YouTube channel Josh Yaks, and while RPGs by their nature provide pretty much infinite replayability, and card games like Magic the Gathering pretty much the same thing, almost infinite replayability, I would argue that the tabletop board game that provides the most replayability, in my experience, is Spirit Island. Not only are the individual spirits that you can play so asymmetrical from each other that each spirit feels so different when you play it, but there are other expansions for the game, and there are these individual scenarios that you can play for one-off different experiences for the games, as well as these adversaries that provide you entire campaigns that play out differently from each other. So just the sheer amount of content and the innumerable ways you can mix and match it just creates so many different play experiences that you can just play this game without ever getting bored, and it's a fun cooperative game to boot. Cheers.
For me, I'm going to say Zaya, just because the way that the board builds out each time is always different, and it's really fun to have different ships and put different upgrades on them. I really enjoy the replayability in Zaya. There's always new missions and quests coming out, or new different things that you're trying to go for, tons of different stacks of cards and things like that, allowing you to have extra replayability. And just something about exploring space in different ways as different setups each time makes it exciting and replayable for me. But yeah, for me, it's Zaya.
Hello everyone, I'm Dave.
And I'm Dirk, and we're from the YouTube channel 2D Board Gamers.
This week's topic is most replayable games. So for me, I'm choosing Marvel Champions. We've got something like 49 heroes, over 40 villains, different aspects and modules that you can intermix. So there's just tons and tons of replayability.
And in a similar vein, I've kind of got two that spring to mind. One is Marvel Legendary, the other one is Dominion. Both of these have a lot of different cards and sets that can be mixed together to ramp up the replayability on them.
And also, I'm going to choose the crew, especially Mission Deep Sea. I play this game a lot at conventions stuff with the different task cards and stuff. You can really get a good mix of games.
Yeah, and all of these, because of the replayability, tend to be on our regular rotation of games.
Yep. All right. Well, with that, please enjoy the rest of your favorite game Friday.
So a game that I've come to love because of there's so much replayability and the theme, because it's a cooperative superhero Marvel game, is Marvel United. The base game comes with a lot of heroes you get to play, but then there's also the X-Men version, so there's some, and these are cross-compatible. But then if you get one of the Kickstarters, you've got all the different ways you can play the game there, with all the different extra heroes. So there's even different heroes you can play from the stretch goals box. Doctor Strange, as my friend Andrew always plays. But then there's another set. You've got very different ways to play, like the Fantastic Four, and probably my favorite way to play this silly, silly game. Oh, where did it go? Oh, snooze! Where is it? Oh, Days of Future Past. Here it is. This is probably my favorite way to play this game. This is a fantastic game with so much replayability, so many different systems, just fantastic.
It's always awesome to talk about games that you can play over and over again with tons of replayability. Make sure to leave in the comments down below what game you really enjoy that has a lot of replayability in it. And also make sure to check out our contributors from all around the internet and all around the world who join in here on Favorite Game Friday. We would love you to be a part of the show. And if you want to join in, next week's topic is games about bluffing. Is there a game that has like bluffing elements where you're trying to trick your opponents or maybe lie to them a little bit? Is there a game that you really enjoy that has an element of bluffing to it? Make sure to shoot a super short video and put it in the Google Drive link down below. Anybody can join in. It's a super low barrier of entry. It'd be awesome to have you be a part of Favorite Game Friday next week. Anyway, I've been Roy Caney, and I'll see you on the next one.